Welcome to your book channel N Minutes. In this video, we will dive into the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, one of the most influential works in the field of self-development and spiritual awareness. The book explores profound concepts about living in the present moment and transcending the limitations of the mind and past memories. We will divide this book into 3 sections, each covering a key part of its message. If you're interested in learning how to let go of anxiety and focus on the present moment, this video will provide you with the essential tools. Living in the present. Eckhart Tolle begins his book by emphasizing the concept of the present moment as the only gateway to true awareness and inner peace. Many people are either attached to the past or constantly escaping into the future, creating a cycle of anxiety and tension. Tolle believes the solution lies in letting go of these thoughts and returning to the present moment. The present is all you have. According to Tolle, time is merely a mental construct. We don't own the past because it's gone, nor the future because it hasn't arrived yet. Focusing on the present is the only way to live a real and meaningful life. He highlights that most people are stuck in thoughts about the past, regret, negative memories, achievements that are no longer relevant, or the future, fear, expectations, dreams. Practical example: when having a meal, instead of thinking about your daily worries, focus on the details of the moment, the aroma of the food, its taste, and the colors on the plate. This simple practice helps bring you back to the present. The overactive mind. Tolle views the mind as a wonderful tool, but also as an obstacle when it takes control. The mind tends to oscillate between the past and the future, pulling us away from the real experience of living. This overactive mind amplifies suffering by making us cling to things we cannot change or fear. Breaking free from constant thinking. Tolle advises observing your thoughts instead of getting caught up in them. When you notice your thinking, don't try to forcefully stop your thoughts, but simply become a silent witness. He says, when you observe the mind, you begin to free yourself from its grip. Psychological time versus practical time. Tolle distinguishes between 2 types of time. 1. Practical time, the time required for planning and organizing, such as scheduling work or appointments. 2. Psychological time, continuous, unnecessary dwelling on the past or future, leading to anxiety. How to use practical time only. Focus on the present while performing daily tasks. Reflect on the past only to extract valuable lessons. Plan for the future rationally without letting fear take control. Body awareness as a gateway to the present. Tolle explains that the human body is a powerful tool for living in the now. By focusing on the sensations within your body, you quiet the mind. This can be practiced through breath awareness. Take deep breaths and focus on the movement of air within your body. Body sensations. Close your eyes and try to feel the warmth or coolness in your limbs. The importance of inner silence. Tolle emphasizes finding inner silence, which allows a person to connect with their true essence. Silence is not merely the absence of sound but a state of stillness and peace within. Exercise, finding silence. Dedicate 10 minutes daily to sit in a quiet space. Close your eyes and focus on the silence between each inhale and exhale. Notice any thoughts that arise without engaging with them. Dealing with pain and negative emotions in the present. Tolle asserts that suffering is an inevitable part of life, but it can be managed with awareness. Most psychological pain comes from ruminating on the past or fearing the future. When experiencing pain, he advises sitting with the feeling rather than running from it. Exercise for dealing with pain. Identify where the pain is located in your body. If you feel tension, where does it manifest? Observe the sensation without judgment. Ask yourself, is this pain real now, or is it just a thought about something that happened or might happen? Connecting with nature, a key to living in the present. Tolle sees nature as the ultimate representation of the present moment. Trees don't worry about growing, and birds don't think about the future. Spending time in nature can help humans experience the present more effortlessly. Exercise for connecting with nature. Spend time daily in a park or quiet outdoor space. Focus on the sounds of birds or the movement of trees. Feel your presence in the environment without trying to analyze it. The present is life. In conclusion, Tolle explains that living in the present gives us the opportunity to truly understand life. By staying in the moment, we free ourselves from the mind's control and begin to see beauty in the simplest things. Awareness of the mind. In this section, Eckhart Tolle focuses on the concept of the mind and its role in shaping our reality and daily experience. He explains that the mind is a powerful tool when used consciously but becomes an obstacle when it controls us. The goal here is to recognize unconscious mental patterns and shift from constant thinking to a state of pure awareness. Central idea: the mind is a tool, not a master. Tolle argues that the primary issue isn't the existence of the mind but losing control over it. Most people live under the influence of compulsive thinking, where they cannot stop their thoughts. This constant thinking is the main source of suffering because it creates fears and illusions unrelated to the present moment. Illustrative example. Imagine you are in a business meeting, and your mind starts dwelling on past mistakes or anticipating future problems. Instead of being present and focused on the moment, your mind takes over and drains your energy. Awareness of thoughts, the first step to freedom. Awareness is the ability to observe thoughts without being trapped by them. When you become aware of your thoughts, you begin to realize that they are not your true self. Tolle states, "You are not your thoughts, you are the one who notices them." Exercise to cultivate awareness of thoughts. 1. Take a moment to observe your thoughts without trying to change them. 2. Notice how your thoughts shift from one topic to another. 3. Ask yourself, who is noticing these thoughts? The ego and its connection to the mind. Tolle links the mind to the ego, which he describes as the false self. The ego is composed of past memories and future expectations and constantly seeks to assert its existence through comparison, seeking attention or control. How the ego operates. Strives for power or dominance. Thrives on feelings of inferiority or superiority. Fears the present moment because it threatens its existence. Freeing yourself from the ego through observation. When you feel angry or frustrated, ask yourself, is this feeling caused by a wound to my ego? Does what upset me threaten my true self or just the ego's illusion? Recognizing unconscious mental patterns. Tolle notes that the mind often operates on autopilot without our awareness. This is referred to as the unconscious mind. It includes repetitive negative thoughts or automatic judgments. Examples of unconscious patterns. 1. Automatically judging others. 2. Persistent negative self-talk, such as "I'm not good enough." 3. Clinging to the past or fearing the future. How to address the unconscious mind. Observe without intervening. When you notice a mental pattern, simply observe it. Practice mindful meditation. Dedicate daily time to meditation and focus on the present moment. The inner voice and its impact on your life. Tolle highlights that the inner voice we hear constantly is the thinking mind. This voice is often critical or negative. The key is learning to observe this voice without being influenced by it. Exercise for observing the inner voice. 1. When you hear an inner voice criticizing you, pause and ask, is this true? 2. Notice how this voice is merely a passing thought. 3. Remember, you are not the voice, you are the awareness observing it. Silent awareness as a means to free the mind. Tolle explains that silent awareness is a state where the mind stops excessive thinking, allowing the individual to be fully present. This state can be achieved through meditation and focusing on the present moment. How to achieve silent awareness. Sit in a quiet space and focus on your breath. Be aware of any thoughts that arise, but don't engage with them. Each time you return to the present moment, your mind becomes quieter. The mind as a tool for creativity, not suffering. Tolle believes the mind can be a powerful tool for creativity when used consciously. The issue is not thinking itself but losing control over it. By breaking free from compulsive thinking, we can use the mind constructively. Practical example. If you're working on a creative project, set aside time for focused thinking, followed by a break to be fully present. This balance allows the mind to work effectively without draining your energy. The present moment as a space to free the mind. Tolle emphasizes that the mind becomes less dominant when we focus on the present moment. In the here and now, there is no room for fears or illusions. By living in the present, you liberate your mind and experience life more deeply. Exercise to be present. Choose a simple activity, like washing dishes. Focus on the details of the activity, the texture of the water, the sound of the dishes. Notice how your mind quiets down when you are fully present. Challenges in practicing mind awareness. Letting go of constant thinking isn't easy, especially if you're accustomed to compulsive thoughts. It requires patience and regular practice. How to overcome challenges. Avoid judging yourself if you slip back into negative thinking. Remember, awareness is an ongoing process, not a one-time goal. Dedicate daily time to meditation and mindfulness exercises. The mind as an ally, not an enemy. Ultimately, Tolle demonstrates that the mind can be a wonderful tool when used consciously. By observing thoughts and staying present, we can transform the mind from a source of suffering into a means of peace and creativity. The ego and the true self. In the final part of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle focuses on the concept of the ego and its relationship with the true self. He explains that the ego is the primary source of suffering because it represents our false identity, built on the past and future expectations. On the other hand, the true self represents our inner essence, accessible through awareness and presence. This section aims to help you free yourself from the grip of the ego and discover inner peace by connecting with your true self. The ego, the false identity. According to Tolle, the ego is the mental construct we create from our thoughts, memories, achievements, and even the things we own. The ego heavily relies on psychological time. The past, the ego draws its strength from memories and the identity we build upon them. The future, the ego seeks to prove its existence through expectations and ambitions. How the ego operates. Always feels insufficient, striving for more power or approval. Builds its identity based on external factors, money, social status, or relationships. Seeks comparison with others, leading to feelings of jealousy or arrogance. The ego and human relationships. The ego poses a significant challenge in relationships. When a relationship is based solely on fulfilling the ego's needs, it becomes riddled with conflict. The ego always seeks control or victory, which results in constant disputes. Examples of the ego in relationships. 1. Competition between partners about who is more right. 2. Jealousy arising from feeling threatened by the other's success. 3. The desire to possess or control the partner. Reducing the ego's impact on relationships. Practice awareness in emotional situations. When you feel angry or frustrated, pause and ask yourself, is this stemming from an ego wound? Be present in interactions, focus on listening instead of defending yourself or proving your point. Freeing yourself from the ego, practical steps. Breaking free from the ego begins with recognizing that it is not your true self. The ego is merely a mental illusion that dissolves when you become fully present. 1. Observe without judgment. The ego thrives on reaction. When you notice the ego in your thoughts or actions, be a silent observer without judging or feeding it. 2. Accept the present moment. The ego loves to resist reality, constantly comparing what is to what should be. By accepting the present moment as it is, you weaken the ego's hold. 3. Practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts focus away from what the ego perceives as lacking. The more you feel grateful for what you have, the weaker the ego becomes. The true self, pure awareness. The true self is the awareness that transcends the mind and ego. It is your unchanging I that remains constant regardless of external circumstances. Tolle describes the true self as a state of inner peace and connection with the present. Characteristics of the true self. Does not depend on the past or future for its identity. Does not seek comparison or control. Remains peaceful even in the face of challenges. How to discover the true self. 1. Awareness of the inner body. Tolle suggests that the inner body is the gateway to the true self. By focusing on the sensation of your body, you move from thinking to presence. Exercise, close your eyes and focus on the sensation of your body. Feel the living energy flowing within you. 2. Silence and meditation. Silence is the key to accessing the true self. When you enter a state of inner stillness, the ego fades and your true awareness emerges. Exercise, dedicate time daily to meditate in a quiet place. Focus on your breath and observe any thoughts without engaging with them. 3. Embrace living without identity. The true self does not require an identity. When you stop defining yourself by your job, possessions, or past, you begin to discover your true self. Challenges in letting go of the ego. Freeing yourself from the ego is not easy, as it requires confronting deeply ingrained mental habits. Initially, you may face internal resistance or the urge to revert to old thinking patterns. Overcoming challenges. Remember that awareness is a continuous process. Be patient with yourself and celebrate any progress you make. If you feel discouraged, return to the present moment through deep breathing or meditation. The ego and collective consciousness. Tolle notes that the ego is not just an individual problem, but extends to society as a whole. Collective ego manifests as racial conflicts, wars, and economic rivalries. Freeing ourselves from the ego individually can help reduce conflicts on a larger scale. The final outcome, freedom and inner peace. In conclusion, Tolle emphasizes that freeing yourself from the ego is not the end of the journey but its beginning. When you let go of the ego and connect with your true self, your life becomes filled with inner peace and profound joy. The present moment becomes your gateway to true living. The mind becomes a useful servant rather than a tyrannical master. The ego fades, leaving space for the true self. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle is not just a book, it is a practical guide to a more conscious and peaceful life. Through this journey, we have learned the importance of living in the present, understanding the mind, and letting go of the ego to discover the true self. The final message is that inner peace is always available in the present moment. All you have to do is be present. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. And here we end the video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for a new video soon.